One of the biggest problems that I see when coaching guys is that once they've met the girl, they don't know how to continue conversation or make the interaction interesting and build attraction. They freeze up and the woman immediately loses interest. Now let's talk about how to know what to say when you're talking to a woman and how to make that conversation interesting, memorable, and one that builds sexual tension. And I'll show you some body language techniques to make you more attractive when you talk to her. If you know exactly how to talk to a woman and in what order, it will remove the fear and anxiety inside of you. If you know what to say when you want to attract a woman, then you can easily transition into getting her number and getting her wanting more. To do this, I created a conversation roadmap that's easy to remember because they all start with the letter E. You want her to remember you after conversation. You want her saying in her head, "Wow, I want to see that guy again." If you can hold intriguing conversation, then you can easily escalate interaction to a physical level. More on that later, but for now, let me teach you the 4 E's that will help you build a fun, interesting, and engaging conversation that's going to put you ahead of any other guy that she talks to. I'll also show you a live example from one of my students so you can see the conversation roadmap in action. And the first thing you need to know about conversation is that you have to move her. You have to get her to react and intrigue her with the things that you're saying. The big idea here is that it's not always about what you say, it's about how you say it. Most guys think it's the opposite, which brings me to my first E, energy. You need to put energy into the conversation whenever you talk to a girl. There needs to be a fire lit under your butt and you need to be excited. If you're not excited, then you're going to come off dull and boring, which makes the conversation dull and boring. Let me give you a prime example of energy right now. Imagine a girl tells me that she's from Texas. I'm going to respond with a low energy and a high energy response, and you'll see what sounds better. So again, let's pretend I just asked the girl where she's from, and she says Texas. "Oh cool, yeah, I've never been there before. What's it like?" See how dull and boring that sounds? Now let's try that with high energy. "Oh cool, yeah, I've never been there before. What's it like?" Do you notice the difference in my tone and my body language? That's the difference between a boring conversation and an interesting conversation, that little tweak. And women will feel your energy. They're going to feel you in conversation, and that's why you have to make things sound exciting and interesting. And it's pretty easy. All you have to do is use your body language and tonality. Practice saying things in an exciting way the next time you talk to someone. So while remembering the energy you have to bring to a conversation, let's move on to the next part of the roadmap, where I'm going to teach you how to continue a conversation in a way that makes it interesting. The best way that I've found to keep a conversation going is by active listening and extracting, which is our second E. Extracting means that you'll be extracting a word from what the other person is saying and using it to respond in conversation. Here's an example. Let's say that you're talking to a woman and again, she says, "I'm from Texas." Your key word here that you're going to extract is Texas. Now that you've extracted the word, you have 2 options, right? You can either ask a question or you can make a statement. So at Texas, you can ask a question such as, "What's Texas like?" Or you can make a statement like, "Texas is an awesome state. Austin is one of my favorite cities." So let's review really quick. You want to listen in on conversation, and I mean really listen. Don't think about what you're going to say next. Instead, look for a key word that she says and respond to it. With this, you tie in your energy and you have a continuing conversation that's interesting. You can literally just use energy and extraction and hold a conversation with anyone. But you're not trying to attract anyone, right? You're trying to attract a high quality woman. So you want to use the next E, which is emotion. When trying to attract a girl, you want to bring conversation to an emotional level. And when I say emotional, I don't mean that she's crying or getting angry with you. Rather, you're bringing feeling to the conversation. The conversation needs to make her feel something, okay? Feel something. In order to do that, you can either ask emotional type questions or tell a story that engages her. Let me show you how to do both. First is emotional questions. Most guys ask the boring questions, right? Like, what do you do? Where are you from? Do you come to this place often? A high quality man does not ask those kinds of questions. Instead, I want you to ask more interesting questions that's going to bring out more of an emotion. Get her to feel something. So instead of asking the what, ask her the why. Let me say that again. Don't ask her the what because you'll just get an answer with a bunch of facts. Instead, ask her the why. For example, you could ask a girl what she does for a living, which I said a little earlier that it's kind of boring, right? Instead, ask her why she likes what she does. Why does she like her job? Why is she passionate about it? Asking the why brings out emotional answers and brings the conversation to a whole new level. Another way to bring conversation to an emotional level is through storytelling, which I'm sure you know about. Telling one of your stories to a girl will keep the girl interested and interested in you. People love stories. It's why we read books. It's why we go to the movies. You can get her to feel that same entertainment, but at the same time getting her attracted to you if your stories are interesting and bring out your best qualities. Maybe tell a story about a crazy travel experience you had or a time that you helped a friend who was in a big bind. You should make a list of the stories that you have and find a way to tell them when you're talking to a girl. Just make sure it's somewhat relevant in conversation. And here's another tip. If you don't have an interesting story to tell, then use the idea of energy, body language plus tonality, remember, to make it sound more interesting. Remember, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So you can get a good idea of how this all looks. Let me show you a quick clip of one of my students talking to a couple girls live and how he uses each one of these principles.
I was like, oh, she's dressed really well. It's like super stylish right now. You too. You two are both dressed well.
Oh, thank you.
Do you see what's like going?
So just a quick little reminder here in terms of your opener. He kind of goes in. He says that it looks stylish. He stops them, right? So that's the first part of conversation if you didn't hear that. He says, oh, you guys look really stylish. He stops them, and now is continuing conversation.
And yeah, I think it's like, I don't know, it's like some new shoes come out, like this red carpet.
So now he's just commenting on what he sees around him. He's talking about the red carpet. So he just started talking about this. He didn't need any kind of segue, but he just started talking about what's around him. So you can do that too. If you're ever with a girl or you approach a girl and you're kind of running out of things to say, see if there's anything cool around you. And here he had something to say.
Just all the way to the Nike store. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, no idea.
No clue.
Well, we're just having a look.
You're just like having a look,
Yeah,
figuring
might
out.
as well.
Okay, see how he's extracting a little bit here, right? So there's a little bit of a pause, and then she says, we're just having a look, and then he just kind of repeats it. Oh, cool, you guys are just having a little look.
What are you guys up to today?
And then he knows that, okay, the conversation's dipping, so going into a nice transition, which is, what are you guys up to today?
We're just going to see, we're just here for a few days.
Oh, really? Where are you guys from?
Barcelona.
Barcelona. Oh my God, my friend is going back to Spain.
Okay, so here, I know I told you earlier, don't really ask, where are you from, what do you do? But this called for it because they said that they're only here for a couple of days, so it's fine to ask where you're from. And now, do you see extraction happening live right here? They said Barcelona, and now he's about to tell a story about Barcelona.
Next week, actually. It makes me kind of sad. Yeah, she's here. She like stays with the family and she just like watches the kids stuff. But it's like what she does during the summers.
Yeah.
For like, I don't know. That's like how she gets to the States, and she's here for like 3 months. It makes me sad though that she's going back to Spain.
Boom, and now he enters emotion, right? So he says that he's sad that she's going back to Spain. And you see how he just has no problem offering a story, right? So I always say that to you, when you extract a word, you're either going to ask a question or you're going to tell a story. He has no problem with just telling this story about his friend from Barcelona, and then he brings it back to this emotional place, which is going to get the girls feeling more empathy for him.
Like she tells me like the sangrias there are always like the best. Yeah.
They are.
You guys like don't have any accents for being from Spain.
We went
España.
We went to an international school.
Oh, so you're fancy. That's it.
Okay, see how he says, oh, so you're fancy. So that's just a little bit of a tease, right? So he's obviously doing what I call active listening. He's listening to every word they're saying. He's not just trying to come up with the next question. He's responding very well to what they're talking about. And then he's able to even throw in a little bit of a tease, like, oh, you're so fancy because you went to this school.
It's a little bit, you're like, just a little. No, that's awesome. That's really cool. So what brings you here then?
We just wanted to visit. Yeah.
Oh, just visit the States? So it's like, you know, it's like a week trip that we're gonna make? Or have you guys been here a week?
No, we.
And just note his body language. He hasn't crossed his arms. He hasn't put his hands in his pocket. He's staying very relaxed, very calm.
This is literally our first day visiting.
Oh, it's your first day.
Yeah, we arrived yesterday.
Okay, you see that energy? That's really big right there, right? They said it's their first day, and he kind of like lights up his eyes a little bit. I would wish he would have been like, oh, wow, that's so cool. But just notice that's part of the body language aspect of energy, right? I told you that energy is body language plus tonality. So he's reacting really well to them, which makes the conversation more energetic and therefore more fun and more interesting.
Jet lag.
Oh my god. What is it, like 10? Is it 10 hours?
18.
Oh, 18?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking 10? Oh, Jesus Christ, that sucks.
Yeah.
Was there like crying babies on there and you're just like, please, for the love...
See, again, he's bringing it back to this emotional kind of level, like, oh, is there crying babies? Was it hard? Was it difficult? Right? He's bringing in emotional type questions instead of like, oh, cool. Like he talked about how long the flight was, which was a little bit of a fact, not that interesting. But then he goes right into, oh, were there crying babies? And let's see what happens.
God, stop. It wasn't bad?
Yeah, we got lucky. But you never know on the way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing, like, what are you guys like doing out here? Are you guys going out? What's like your plan?
And then at this point, you know, he brings up, you know, what are you doing now? Because he's also seeing that there's still a little dip in conversation. They're not that engaged yet, but they're engaged enough. As you see, they're both facing him in conversation.
Here, like, it seems so random that you guys are like, you know, let's just make a couple day, 3-day trip here.
Yeah.
Make a
More emotion, right? Saying like, oh, it's so random you guys made a 3-day trip here.
out of it.
I don't know. We're here in LA until tonight. And tomorrow we're taking a bus to go to the Grand Canyon. And
Oh my god, you guys are everywhere. And you're gonna do Vegas and stuff since you're gonna be over there? You guys are gonna have a lot of fun. I'm kind of jealous.
Okay, so, oh, look at this.
I'm like really jealous
Are you
right
from
now.
here?
Right, see how they reacted to that, right? So he starts talking about a little bit about facts, about, oh, Vegas, things like that. And then he goes into I'm jealous, right? Emotion, right? So I want you, when you're in conversation, to bring out that emotion when you're talking to girls, right? Be vulnerable. It's okay to say I'm jealous or, oh, that makes me sad, you know, but also, you know, positive things like that makes me happy or I'm so excited, right? Show that emotion, and then with women, they'll react to that. See, they were like, oh, right? And now that just got her engaged enough where she's now finally talking to him and asking him questions.
Yeah, I live actually not too far off.
Okay.
So it's like, well, I need to buy pants because I'm actually flying out to Chicago tomorrow morning.
Okay, nice.
So I like saw you guys. I was like, oh my god, they're just super cute. Let me say something to them real quick.
See, now at this point, he's bringing it back to a little bit of a flirtatious mode. He wants to, you know, let them know that that's the reason why he stopped him. He, you know, thought that they were cute. So that really helps in bringing it back a little bit to get into more of a flirty level.
Yeah, but that sucks that you guys are gone. I'd be like,
Yeah.
but so you guys are just here tonight.
Yeah.
Do you have plans, even though I know you're jet lagged?
No, gonna go to Japan now.
And see that too, right? How he mentions that they're jet lagged. Again, bringing more emotion into the conversation, but also bringing it back to them a little bit in an interesting way.
Now we're gonna go to LA.
To where? The pin?
The pier.
Oh, the pier. I was like, the pin. What is the
She said
pin?
in a really British.
Good example of extraction right there, plus energy, right? So he misheard her, thought she said something like the pin when she said the pier, and he just kind of reacts to it like, what is she talking about? But plus he extracted it because he's listening to every word she's saying. Even if he knew that she meant the pier, it's good that he still said, oh, wait, did you say the pin? Like, what are you talking about, right? So that just makes conversation a little bit more energetic and, again, more fun and then more memorable.
Oh my gosh.
I'm studying in Liverpool, so.
I know. I was like, your accent started coming through. I'm like, where is this coming from? I was like, you're such a snake. I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
We're
funny.
just gonna visit that, and then we're going to go to Venice Beach.
Venice is nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
Venice is very cool.
And then we'll go back.
And then you're back to LA.
Yeah.
And then you're LA tonight, and then you take a bus tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to think of you guys should be going somewhere while you're out here. Like tonight, you should be going somewhere.
You think?
I actually know a place where you should go.
Okay.
Where, are you like downtown LA or?
Yeah, downtown.
Oh my God, I have the perfect spot.
Okay.
The absolute perfect.
Okay, so this is a really, really good part in the conversation. Just in a second here, he's about to tell them a bar that they should go to, okay? And this bar is called the Edison. It's actually in Los Angeles. Now, he could very simply just say, you guys should go to this bar. It's really cool. It's called the Edison. You should check it out. But instead of saying that, he tells a little bit of a story and makes it sound so much more cool, which makes it more interesting. So watch what he does here.
Okay. Is that your plan? Like, you guys want to go out? Like, that's your thing?
I don't know. We're not
Like,
sure.
you're here in LA for a day. You probably should. Like,
Yeah.
you should do it while you're here. At least
let's
once.
see how we feel. Because we need to be up early tomorrow. So
That's
we're
fine.
not sure.
It's more important that you see it. At least you see, like, to me, it's like the coolest bar in LA, too.
Okay.
So, what it is, it was like the first power plant in LA, right? And what they did, it's like a basement thing.
Okay.
What they did is they converted it into this huge speakeasy. Like, it's huge.
Yes.
And so, you know, they have like aerial dancers, like with ribbon dancers. They'll have people maybe doing maybe a little burlesque, or they'll have like tap dancers. They always do something like crazy.
Okay.
And then, you know, there's like a girl dressed up like Tinkerbell. She like pushes around like absinthe carts and
What's
stuff
the
like
name
that.
of the place?
So the place is called the Edison.
See, even before he gets to say what the name is, he does this. He does such a strong description of the place that she's like, oh, what's it called? All right, so the point here that I'm trying to make is when you're more detailed, when you're telling stories, right, and you make things sound more interesting, it's going to get people around you, not even just women, to be sucked in to whatever you're saying. And they're just hanging on every word. And they're entertained, but at the same time, they just feel like more comfortable around you because, you know, you're just telling these stories and being so detailed. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be really good at storytelling and being able to listen in on the conversations you're having with women so you can easily extract the words and then go into a story, which is automatically going to make it emotional. And then you're going to put energy behind the story. So again, we're just wrapping this all up, giving you the 3 principles: energy, extracting, and emotion. All right, let's recap. You're going to bring energy into the conversation using your body language and tonality. You're going to be able to continue that conversation by extracting words and commenting or asking a question. And when you finally ask a question, make sure it's about the why and get to know her on a more personal level. And during the conversation, be sure to tell a story or two to make her interested and engaged. So there you have it. That's the conversation roadmap. And when you use these principles, you're going to see a dramatic change in the way that you talk to women. To get a recap of the conversation roadmap, be sure to download and read the free report underneath this video. And one more thing, in this report, I've included a technique on how to talk about what you do. I call it the job statement. Click on the free report below this video and it's going to download instantly to your computer. Now again, be sure to download the free report down below and I'll talk to you very soon.